You know, I like to start vlogs when I'm feeling the crappiest, when I'm feeling the worst. I don't know why I tend to do this, but like, vlogging makes me feel better. So even if I don't end up posting this video, like, the act of vlogging makes me feel energized and happy. So I'm going to do a reading vlog today. I just wanted to get on here and talk about books and talk about an experience that I had at the doctor's. So stay tuned for some reading and some doctor's appointments. So the reason that I am so incredibly exhausted today in particular is because I was at the hospital last night, not for anything serious, but I participated in a sleep study overnight because I have been dealing with chronic insomnia for 3.5, 4 years. I finally saw a sleep doctor, and last night was my sleep study, and we're gonna have a follow-up in a couple of weeks to talk about the results. So I got to the hospital at about 8 p.m. and stayed overnight and was woken. Well, I myself woke up at 5:45, but I was supposed to be woken up at 6 a.m. and then they took all the little electrodes off me and I was sent on my merry way. But I will insert a picture of me with all of my little electrodes. Yeah, I had electrodes on my, like, little sensing pads on my legs, on my stomach, on my chest, and then all over my face. I had a thing up my nose to measure my breathing. On my head, I still have glue in my hair. So I need to shower and take care of that. But yeah, electrodes everywhere, wires everywhere. So obviously not going to be a great night's sleep anyway, but I did sleep enough to get some good data at the very least. So not super comfortable, but it is what it is. And I think it's going to lead to hopefully some positive intervention from my sleep doctor so I can sleep. Let me give you a reading update. I am in the middle of a lot of things, but the one I think I want to focus on is How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu. This is a slow-paced slice of life sci-fi about a plague that is released from Siberia as the ice is melting. A amoeba-like plague is exposed and gets passed around humanity. And I read 2 chapters, the introductory chapter and then the second chapter, and I bawled my eyes out. So I want to approach this book with a ton of caution and warn people about this. It's super emotional and hard-hitting and a little close to home as we are still in a pandemic as I am filming this. So just be gentle, and I'm being gentle with myself. After I read that 1 chapter, I was like, I need a break. So that is a book I'm going to be focusing on, but I'm going to be reading it like 1 chapter at a time and then taking a break. All right, I'm freshly showered. I got all of the goo out of my hair, and I've got my pajama reads a lotl shirt on, and I want to go check out my garden. And we're in the garden. Doesn't look like much because it's just planted, but we've got plants. This is going to be a watermelon patch. Still needs some work, but then rain barrel. All we have to do is connect this piece up here, so the rain will go whoop, right in here. My husband did this little platform. And then we've got like the tall beds. These are carrot seeds, so nothing has sprouted yet. Got some basil. I think those are tomatoes. And some more carrots. And then over here we got cabbage and lettuce and peppers and more tomatoes with some chives and some mint in a pot, otherwise it will grow everywhere. This smells, I wish you could smell it, but here, have some mint. But yeah, that's the garden. And look, Hiccup is eating the grass for me. Thanks, bud. What are you reading? Are you reading anything? No, we're just napping. Oh, okay. My heart. My heart. It hurts for a pig. It's time to switch books to the rom-com. Besties, I'm struggling. I'm home from work. Another update, I guess. I got a tattoo last week, a new one, and we're now like 4 or 5 days in, and it itches so bad, you guys. It itches so bad. Oh, so I'm like watching my TV show, and I'm like trying not to scratch my fresh tat. Anyway, this is Hiccup is saying hi. Anyway, I'll show a picture of it if you would like. I'll pop it in. I'm doing like houseplants on this leg, so I already have one houseplant tattoo on that leg, and then I'm added another one to it. I want to do it in like different styles by different artists, like just around Minneapolis, like find some really cool artists to add to the legs, and I'm really excited. But I really want to scratch it because it's like the 4th or 5th day, and that's always like the worst. I also wanted to update you all on a book that I started reading. So I was really not feeling like continuing How High We Go in the Dark. I found this book, I was scrolling through and I found this book, and it's called The Bookshop of Second Chances by Jackie Fraser. It's a debut romance novel, and I just read the synopsis, and it's about this woman. Her name is Tia. She's in her 40s. I believe she's 44. She's been married to her husband for almost 20 years, and he cheats on her and leaves her. Well, she leaves him, I suppose. And then almost in the same time period, she gets noticed that her great uncle left her his house and giant book collection in Scotland. So she goes to this tiny little town in Scotland and is trying to figure out what she's going to do with this beautiful, it's like a very like huge collection, and it's expensive. So she wants to like sell the books. And she basically like starts kind of a new life in this small town in Scotland, and it's really quaint and cute, and I like the fact that it's got an older protagonist. She's messy, she's imperfect. I believe the person who's supposed to be her love interest is also really messy and imperfect. So I don't know, I'm just like, it's very quaint. I'm wondering if it's more of like, I hate to say this, but like a chick lit novel than it is a rom-com, an adult romance, because it's like not very funny. moments where I'm like smiling because I'm enjoying my reading experience, but it's not funny in the way that a rom-com is. But I don't know, I'm just kind of having a good time. So I don't know if it's to my personal like preference for a romance novel, but I don't know, I'm still enjoying it. I'm still having a good time. So I read 50% of this last night actually, so I'm quite far, and I will let you know how that goes. And I am going to stop talking and sign off, because I want to focus on driving safely. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Reading has been hard lately. I ended up finishing the Bookshop of Second Chances, and while I enjoyed the first like 50% of this book, the latter half of the book just really got boring, and it's much more of like literary fiction chick lit than a romance. The sex scenes were then we went to bed, then the next day we did this. It's like, oh, okay, so they basically didn't happen on page at all, which is fine. I don't need smut in my romance, but the focus was more about this woman like getting a new lease on life than it was about the romance. Like, she does get together with a man, but it wasn't really about that. I don't know. It just, I was explaining this to my partner last night, how it felt tonally like one note the whole way, whereas like in a rom-com, I want to feel moments of fun, and then sadness and happiness and anger and frustration, and there weren't those types of scenes in this book. It was very like tonally the same. So I ended up giving this a 3 stars. I think I did like enjoy at least some of the reading experience of this, but I don't think this is a type of book for me. So I'm on the desperate hunt for another rom-com. I ended up DNFing my reread of Happiness for Humans. When I originally read this, I listened to it on audiobook, and I remember having a good time. I read it in one sitting, or listened to it in one sitting. I remember having a lot of fun with it. The AI characters were hilarious. However, the male love interest in this one, upon reread, is giving me the ick quite a bit. He does not give me good vibes, and I cannot stand his points of view. So I'm just gonna let this book live in my memory as a good time, and let it go. You know, I read probably about 100 pages of this, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave this as a fond, like, that was a good time in my memory, but I'm not gonna return because the male love interest, he was giving me like, I'm a nice guy, I'm like the toxic nice guy kind of thing, and yuck, no. And then what did I do? I read a couple, I did like a chapter tag, or try a chapter of like 4 or 5 different audiobook rom-coms, where I listened to the first chapter of each of them and then decided which one I would want to continue. And I actually found one that's called Accidentally Engaged. And the first chapter of this was really compelling, super compelling. It's about this Muslim woman, and she is living in an apartment unit in an apartment building, and a new neighbor moves in, and he's this really hunky, chunky guy. So she encounters him, and he's flirting, and he's asking her out on a date, and she's like kind of into it. And then she says, my name is so-and-so. I can't remember off the top of my head what her name is. She says, my name is so-and-so, and the guy kind of freaks out. He goes, oh, I am so-and-so. Our fathers have like arranged a marriage in between us, or something like that. surprise. So I thought that was hilarious, and it's such a fun concept. So I was really intrigued just even with the first chapter of that one. So I am going to be continuing Accidentally Engaged. I already enjoyed this quite a bit because there are, the main character has two queer best friends. One is her cousin, who is a queer woman, and then she has a queer man friend, and they're hilarious. And the main character is in business. She has a really boring like finance job that she absolutely hates, but her life passion is to become an artisanal bread maker. And like, if you know anything about me, one, I'm gluten-free, so unfortunately I can't participate and partake of the artisanal bread scene, but I love rom-coms. I love the idea of a rom-com focusing around food and food competitions and baking and anything in that vein. I'm here for it. And this has both a competition and a main character who loves baking. And so I'm really into this one. So I will keep you updated on how this goes. And hopefully I will finish this by the end of the week and the end of this vlog. The sun just came out. Oh, it's so soggy back here. It has rained a lot. Okay, this is the rain barrel. See, it's got a little platform, got a little spout thing. Oh, it's a little misaligned, but oh, it's holy. It's. I tried to move it. It's full. What? I am not. What? So, to put it in perspective, we were supposed to get 1.5 inches of rain today. Like, and just putting a barrel under a downspout, I've collected an entire barrel full of water with one rain. That's crazy. Obviously it must have overflowed. What do I do with the overflow? Do I need another thing to go to an overflow barrel? I don't have another barrel. What do I do? I have so much water. What the heck? The rest of the garden looks great. I mean, she's well watered. She's doing great. Look at the broccoli, just absolutely thriving. So, a quick reading update. I'm now 50% into Accidentally Engaged, and I'm really enjoying it. It's really cute. It's got all of the rom-com elements that I like. Fake dating. It's got like silly antics. There's a competition. There's humor, but there's also emotionally vulnerable scenes as well. Like, the characters are naturally opening up to each other and becoming friends. I actually really like how the two, Rena and Nadim, I remember their names this time, how their friendship is developing. I'm really appreciative of that. There's a big focus on that. And there is also this element of Rena's parents are Muslim and also Indian. So there's a lot of like cultural and religious connotations and like expectations that they have. And so Rena's parents want her to marry Nadim. So she's like, she doesn't want to marry him out of spite. Because, like, oh, I don't want anyone my parents choose for me, but he ends up being her love interest anyway. I think that's kind of an interesting twist on, like, the arranged marriage trope, or, like, parents interfering with their kids' choice. I don't know. I'm just really enjoying it. I mean, I don't know if, like, I'm disappointed in this next element, but the smut scene was fade to black. No explicit content other than smooching, which, man, I enjoy a good smut scene, but I guess it doesn't necessarily make or break a romance novel for me. If I want to feel gooey and happy for the couple, and I think this one is pulling that off without explicit content. Hiccup is being very dramatic. So yeah, I'm enjoying it quite a lot. It's a good rom-com for me, and it's hitting a lot of my personal taste points. Does that even make sense? I don't know. It is so bright out. But I wanted to end the vlog at some point with finishing a book. And I did finish Accidentally Engaged. And it was cute. I gave it 4 stars. I would have liked more smut. I would have liked maybe a little bit more heart at the end, but I think this was overall a successful romance novel, and I liked it. So I gave it 4 stars. Not a new favorite forever of all time, but quite good. So 4 stars for that. I may end up DNFing How High We Go in the Dark, just not because it isn't good, quite the opposite, because it's too good and too emotionally hard-hitting for me. But I'll do my best. Anyway, thank you for watching my vlog. If you made it this far, I'm so sorry. And I will see you in another video very soon.